What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. Today was kind of a flat day in the market. Not a whole lot going on, but there are some key takeaways that I want to share with you guys that I think were interesting and might shed some light on what to expect over the next week. This is a critical week. We really do need a follow-through week from the mess of the last month or so. And so we're going to go through certain names, certain sectors, and talk about the macro and what to kind of expect and things that I'm looking at. So before we dive into it, here's my disclaimer. Trading is risky. This is my opinion, not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but I do hope that you get some value from this video. And if you do, if you could smash the like button. Your comments, of course, are always appreciated. I love to hear your thoughts on the market. And if you're not subscribed yet, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So you can see here, pretty much flat other than the Russell, which took another pounding today. The Dow is down about 0.5%, but the main ones, NASDAQ, S&P, pretty much flat for all intents and purposes. We have critical CPI inflation data coming out on Wednesday, and I think the market is a little hesitant to pick a side until that data comes out. However, you can see there's certain things going on in the market that have caught my eye. So first and foremost, what's going on here? Interesting. So the market decided, NVIDIA under $100, that doesn't make any sense, at least for the time being. So they bought up this name right here. Some other kind of notable names, United Healthcare up 1%. This is kind of a defensive growth position to take. Costco was up like 1% today, and then it kind of softened. And then Apple held up. Very interesting. There was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt in this name, but it looks like Wall Street doesn't really want to sell this one off as much as they're comfortable selling off names like Google. Tesla can't break that 200 mark. Now, going into the ETFs, we can see the sectors, and what's very interesting to me is that tech did pretty well today. So it would appear that, in my opinion, I think tech still continues to outperform by the end of the year, and that's what Wall Street is expecting. So even though today is kind of one of those risky days maybe in the market to open up a new position, considering where we're at, the volatility, you would think tech being a risk-on asset class wouldn't have been the green one today. But there's some other interesting areas here. We got oil and gas, U.S. oil, crude oil was up, gold up, silver up, gold miners up, bonds up, energy up slightly. So what does this mean? Well, this could mean that inflation data might be a little high, a little low. What exactly does it mean? So, in my opinion, the reason why the Russell is selling down is because, so let's say that the inflation data is hot. Let's say it's hot. Okay, well that means that there's not going to be a rate cut. So then the Russell doesn't get its love. But what if it comes in negative? What if it comes in too good? Well, then the economy is going to be softening really bad. Well, if the economy is softening really bad, we might be heading into a recession, which is also bad for the Russell. So I feel like there's like a no-win situation for the Russell going into these CPI numbers. And I think that's why this is taking such the brunt. If you're trying to, like me personally, my strategy with the inflation data, like say that it comes in, like inflation's coming down and rate cuts are coming, I think a better play is going to be TLT. So I've begun DCAing into TLT. I have a starter position. We're going to go into the charts now, and I want to show you some key levels here. So this is TLT. And you can see it had this big pop. It popped up when the market started to crunch. And then when the market bounced, it came down. So it seems to have a bit of an inverse relationship with the market, at least for the moment. We do not have a buy signal on the Ichimoku. However, today you can see we closed with a bullish engulfing candle. This is good. This is why I felt comfortable beginning to front run it, because I may not get an opportunity, you know, like if, you know, and this is my big takeaway from this video that you'll want to remember. On Wednesday, when CPI data comes out, I would be watching this like a hawk, because if this TLT responds well to the inflation data, you could see another big push higher. And, you know, this is a daily chart. Let's take a look at the weekly. Now this one is not formed yet, but we are clearly out of the cloud, like powerfully out of the cloud on the weekly. Top of the cloud lies at about 95.76, and this today closed about 1% above that. So I like the risk reward. I think that there's a strong support level right here, and going into those CPI numbers, I think, you know, this is the other thing too. If it comes in negative, okay, they can cut. But if it, you know, if we get some more like weird jobs numbers or the economy softens, they're going to have to cut anyway. So, you know, what's the right timing to get into TLT? I mean, people have been wrong for most of the year, but I think we finally, you know, we finally punched through the weekly cloud. I think this is game time for TLT. Some other things to take a look at, you know, if we look at the SPY, we're still within this fib channel. I think it's important to take a look at the volume. Today, I think people were a little hesitant to trade. And, you know, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you could see as we've bounced higher, volumes come down. So the market needs more data, and I think Wednesday is going to bring us that data, and we're going to find out, you know, what the deal is. Could we mark a lower low? Absolutely. We could come down to this 500 level, which would be a problem technically. It would really break down our uptrend. It would put us into this fib channel. We've been inside of this fib channel since the beginning of this rally. So by breaking it here, you know, we rejected that break. We pushed right back in. So I still remain fairly bullish. I do think the CPI numbers are going to be adequate. Like, they're going to be good. They're going to imply that we are going to get that rate cut in September. The most recent jobs data, jobless claims, I think it was, you know, accepted well by the market. That was our big Thursday push higher. But we are solidly inside of the daily cloud on the SPY. Weekly cloud, I don't even want to think about where that is. I mean, that's all the way down at 470, which would put us right back year to date. Not good. Some key levels to watch. So I want to show you the hourly here on the SPY. Actually, I want to go to the 5-minute. I think that was more interesting today. All right, so today you have the market open. You have this big flush rally, and then I believe this was the bond market. Boom. Terrible, terrible engulfing candle. We tried to recover, and then interesting. So right at the end of the day, look at that. Buying pressure. So sure seems like some shenanigans going on is all I can say, but this is kind of promising for the bulls to end the day this way. You know, we did stop short of the cloud. And we did end the day a little bit positive, more than flat, so that's good. you know, some key levels here. So this topped out at about 530. Call it 535 is a pretty crucial level that we got to break. As far as like next levels to break, so 535, 536, there's a gap. So we push through 536, we're going to be cruising up to 540, and that would be the next, you know, level up that we would need to get back up to. This does give the feeling of rollover. However, you know, good data comes in, and you know, you could see this fade down to the bottom of the fib channel again, down to about 525, leading up to those numbers. So, you know, I wouldn't really freak out if that were to happen. That would be a normal, honestly, that'd be a normal thing to happen. But this does give the feeling of rolling over, doesn't it? The NASDAQ held up a little bit stronger. Tech held up a little bit stronger today. Some key levels to watch for that. We did close over 450, which was a good thing. Here, I'm going to bring this to, or actually here, let's just take a look here. So for the Qs, 450, call it 455, maybe a little bit lower than that, more like 454. That's a level to break, and if we can get over that level, here, I'm going to put this on the daily so you can see. Really, we need to get back up over this uptrend line to call ourselves recovered, because this was, you know, once we broke this, this was a bad news situation. Rejecting off the cloud, giving ourselves a doji candle. Yeah, just indecision today. So things were mostly flat. Things are going to hinge on those numbers. You know, another thing they're going to hinge on is the Middle East, and I think that's why you're seeing gold, silver, and oil start to creep up. People are buying into those, heading into, like, as a hedge, heading into these numbers and this week. So that's something to keep an eye on. Maybe not a bad idea, honestly. One play in particular in the oil area that I've been doing is this name right here, Occidental Petroleum. Good enough for Warren Buffett, good enough for me. And you can see here, if I go to the weekly, there's a pretty strong level of support about $55. And I believe Uncle Warren is picking up shares every time it taps this number. So I don't think he's going to let this thing get below it. So I like the risk reward on Occidental Petroleum, especially going through the next week. So I do have a position already in this. I bought some shares down here, and that's been working out so far. I'm going to keep this video short. Not a super eventful day in the market, but it is interesting to see that tech, gold, and energy seem to be getting some love heading into what could be a turbulent week. All right, thank you guys so much. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Comment below what you are playing through this week. What are you have your eyes on? I'd love to take a look at that. Maybe I'll feature it on the channel. And until next time, Risky Ryan out.